Hello and welcome to the European Circle report. Last week, dozens of foreign leaders and representatives met at a conference in the capital of Laos in another Asia-Europe meeting. Since 1996, these meetings have seen leaders from all over Europe, Asia and Australasia convene in order to negotiate alliances and trade deals that are generally of mutual benefit. The participants include the European Commission, the 27 member states of the European Union, and the 13 members of the ASEAN Plus 3 group, as well as countries as far-ranging as India, Australia, Russia and New Zealand. As of 2012, Norway, Switzerland and Bangladesh will be joining the summit. At the opening of the ceremony, the President of the European Council, Herman Van Rompuy, said that the EU is firmly committed to its responsibilities as a strong world actor and a strong partner for Asia. He believes that the entire Asian continent has become a region of strategic importance for Europe, and it's clear that Europe gains much from its trade with Asia. In 2011 alone, trade between members of the Asia-Europe Pact amounted to approximately 900 billion euros. Rompuy hailed the Asia-Europe meetings as platforms of dialogue and cooperation that gather more than half of the world's GDP, amounting to 55% of the global trade and involving around 60% of the world's population. However, whilst previous conferences have focused on how Asia's economies can do more in order to become stronger world economies, analysts believe that this one revolved around the failure to turn around the economic crisis in Europe and, of course, the rising power of Asia's economies. In the past few years, China in particular has been helping to hoist Europe out of the depths of the crisis. It has made efforts to increase imports from Europe since the beginning of the crisis, and in June this year alone, China contributed $43 billion to help recapitalize the International Monetary Fund. The year's theme for the summit is Friends for Peace, Partners for Prosperity. Rompuy and his European Commission counterpart, José Manuel Barroso, spoke of the importance of Eurasian cooperation. They stressed that only through the promotion of peace, human rights, sustainable development and climate change can the members of the Asia-Europe group continue their historical responsibilities, which are the safeguarding of peace and the working together for prosperity and growth. Barack Obama will remain the President of the United States for another 4 years. In the US elections last Tuesday, he won the presidency with 303 electoral votes, which was a relatively clear-cut victory over his Republican challenger, Mitt Romney. In his hometown of Chicago, Obama gave a charismatic victory speech amongst thousands of jubilant supporters. According to the polls, had Obama been running for the presidency of Europe, he would have done so with ease. He enjoys approval ratings that sit around the 90% mark in the UK, France, Germany, Finland, Denmark, Sweden and Norway. His approval rating sits above the 60% mark around the rest of Europe too. Some analysts claim this is because he took a different direction from George W. Bush's 8 destructive years in the White House, whilst others put it down to him refusing to ask much of Europe, unlike Bush with the Iraq War. European leaders were warm in their congratulations, and they will hope to continue the trade deals that have seen both the US and Europe gain in equal measure. Last year alone, transatlantic trade jumped 14% to reach 500 billion euros, in total employing 15 million people in the process. Research and development in the two trading zones account for approximately 65% of the global total. The transatlantic economy makes up 54% of world production and 40% of buying power. In total, direct investments from the United States into Europe and vice versa are far higher than the investment figures from China and Japan combined. Europe, however, will be the least of Obama's worries. The US president has some difficult challenges to overcome in the first few months of his second term. The country still faces major challenges such as high unemployment, weak economic growth, and the huge debt burden. Before all of this, however, Obama will have to deal with the so-called fiscal cliff. This is a case in which tax increases and spending cuts take effect if the US Congress can't agree on spending compromises. Allowing this default to take place could force the country's economy into a second recession, which would likely affect world trade all over again. The president has already announced that he would like to compromise with the Republicans, but with Congress still under Republican control, it looks like there could be a repeat of the messy Capitol Hill politics that marked Obama's last campaign. That was the European Circle report for this week. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.